Katy Hudson. Katy Hudson was released on March 6, 2001. Before she was the pop icon Katy Perry, she was just Katy Hudson. A pastor's daughter in 2001, living in a house where Britney Spears CDs were basically a crime. Katy's music leaned not toward bubblegum pop, but Christian rock, packed with moody guitars and lyrics about faith. Naturally and My Own Monster was all about battling inner fears, while Piercing is about how people are so infatuated with materials in life. Trust in Me hits us with lonely teen vibes and electronica rock roots. If I were to choose, I think this would be my favorite one. If you are more familiar with Katy Perry today, you would never guess these tracks were sung by her when she was 16. Sometimes I wonder how she went from this to Woman's World. We'll get to this. The album barely sold like 200 copies, and the label folded less than a year later. It was indeed a massive flop, but when we listen to it now, it feels like flipping through a middle school diary. Cringe, heartfelt, and oddly iconic. And that's the charm. Katy Hudson was the awkward first chapter before she went global. Now, those rare CDs feel like little relics of baby Katy, proof that even global icons start out fumbling, just like the rest of us. One of the boys. On June 17, 2008, Katy Perry stepped into the pop world with her second studio album, One of the Boys. At 23, she was in that stage of life where everything feels dramatic, exciting, and a tiny bit scandalous. The lead single, I Kissed a Girl, was such a guilty pleasure, but like, in the best way, topping the charts in 20 countries and putting Katy confidently on the global map. Hot and Cold followed, hitting number 3 in the US, while Thinking of You proved she could break hearts with tender ballads. Waking Up in Vegas added the perfect playful finale, landing in the top 10. From a barely known first album to worldwide hits, Katy had officially arrived. She co-wrote most of the songs and worked with big-name producers like Greg Wells, Dr. Luke, and Ted Bruner, showcasing her artistry and vision. This album earned her 2 Grammy nominations and sold over 7 million copies worldwide, basically a giant leap from her debut. One of the Boys is the album where Katy Perry found her voice and announced to the world that she is a singer who can make unforgettable songs that everyone can sing and dance to. Teenage Dream. If One of the Boys introduced Katy Perry, Teenage Dream grounded her as a pop icon of the decade. Released on August 24, 2010, the album was the feeling of being young, free, and a little reckless bottled into 12 tracks. It's carefree, rainbow fun, and bursting with that endless promise of summer vacation. California Girls was the big kickoff, bouncier than a beach ball with Snoop Dogg as the sugar daddy in its unforgettable Candyland video. The lyrics were so catchy they still pop into my head. Every time I hear it, I feel like I'm on vacation. The track gave the whole record that sun-drenched, feel-good energy, setting the tone for the era. Then there was Firework, the emotional centerpiece. I remember blasting it on New Year's Eve, the sky lighting up as Katy belted. It gave me so much confidence, that brassy positivity, the soaring chorus, the sense that maybe you were more than you gave yourself credit for. Even now, it's one of those rare pop songs that can flip your mood in an instant. And of course, the numbers don't lie. Teenage Dream, California Girls, E.T., Firework, and last Friday night, TGIF all went to number 1. One making Katy the first woman in history to score 5 Hot 100 chart toppers from one album. The only other artist to do it? Michael Jackson with Bad Back in 1987. Half the album went top 10, and it picked up 7 Grammy nominations along the way. Looking back, Teenage Dream was actually a dream for hardcore pop fans. Big hooks, candy-colored visuals, and songs that were blasted at every party, road trip, and sleepover. Whenever I think of the year 2010, I think of Teenage Dream. And more than a decade later, its glow hasn't faded one bit. Prism. On October 18, 2013, Katy Perry returned with her 4th studio album, Prism, and it was pure pop magic. Initially planned to be darker, the album transformed into a sparkling, dance-inspired collection that still carried her signature energy. At this point, Katy was all about living in the moment, celebrating relationships, and embracing self-empowerment, and the songs reflect exactly that. The lead single, Roar, dropped in August 2013 and immediately became an anthem of confidence and empowerment. It topped the Billboard Hot 100 and made everyone feel like they could conquer the world. The music video for Roar has to be her best one till date. It shows Katy crash landing into a jungle and slowly transitioning into the female version of Mowgli. Dark Horse featuring Juicy J followed, blending trap pop beats with mystical Egyptian goddess vibes in the music video that had fans screaming with excitement. Unconditionally brought the emotional depth, a power ballad that showed Katy's softer, more heartfelt side. Prism is 13 tracks of glittering pop perfection, with Katy working alongside longtime collaborators like Max Martin and Dr. Luke, while also bringing in fresh creative voices. The album didn't just succeed, it exploded. It hit #1 in countries like America, the UK, Canada, and Australia, sold over 6 million copies worldwide, and received multi-platinum certifications across the globe. All in all, Prism brought back her playful energy, full of catchy hooks and empowering anthems that quickly became fan favorites and a party material. Witness. Witness was Katy Perry's 5th studio album, released on June 9, 2017. It marked a sharp turn from her candy pop era into a heavier, experimental dance/electropop vibe. After the whirlwind of the Prismatic World Tour, she took a much-needed break to focus on her mental health, saying she needed to feel human again instead of just being Katy Perry the pop star. Life and politics also weighed on her, with Hillary Clinton's loss in the 2016 election leaving her unable to write the carefree songs she once did. But after a 4-year-long break from her musical career for mental health, Katy was seen in a completely new look, from her dark, long hair to a blonde pixie cut. Witness opens with the title track, a classic 90s-inspired piano anthem, and immediately sets the tone. Hey, Hey, Hey became a feminist anthem about celebrating all sides of womanhood, while Chained to the Rhythm blended disco pop beats with a subtle political message about waking up from life's bubbles. Bon Appetit featuring Migos was cheeky, playful, and wild, showing off Katy's humor and creativity even if it only peaked at number 59 in the US charts. Swish Swish with Nicki Minaj added extra fire, delivering a sassy, shade-filled punch that fans instantly loved. The rest of the album, from explosive EDM tracks like Roulette to the sleek electro R&B of Deja Vu, felt like a musical theme park. Witness may not have hit the same heights as her previous albums, but it still managed to top the charts in countries like America, Canada, and Spain. This showed that even after stepping back, she could still connect with listeners in a meaningful way. Smile. Smile dropped on August 28, 2020 as Katy's reset button after the turbulence of the Witness era. The album's creation ran parallel to her own journey back to joy, finding stability through love, resilience, therapy, and the pregnancy of her first child. As Katy herself described it, it was about finding the light at the end of the tunnel. Musically, Smile leaned back into pure pop, upbeat hooks, glittery production, and self-help style lyrics meant to lift listeners up. The first single, Daisies, dropped in May and doubled as both an empowerment anthem and a personal milestone, especially since Katy later named her daughter Daisy. The title track, Smile, brought a new disco shimmer with lyrics about overcoming dark times and literally reminding herself to smile again. Before the full album, Katy had already sprinkled in singles like Never Really Over, arguably one of her most underrated pop gems, Harley's in Hawaii, which TikTok gave new life to later, Small Talk, and Never Worn White. Final tracklist offered 12 songs with 4 bonus tracks on the Deluxe edition. Chart-wise, Smile was a mixed bag. It reached number 2 in Australia but slipped quickly elsewhere, falling to number 104 on the Billboard 200 by its 3rd week. By Katy's own standards, it underperformed, but for fans, the bigger takeaway was seeing her return to joy and self-acceptance, channeling positivity into music again. Even if it wasn't a commercial triumph, Smile felt like a personal victory. 143. Katy Perry's 7th and latest studio album, 143, dropped on September 20th, 2024 at a very different stage of her life. Now a mother, Katy blended her music with themes of love, affection, feminism, and motherhood, showing the world a softer, more reflective side of herself. But why the title 143? At first, it might sound unusual, but Katy explained that during a difficult period, she kept seeing 143 everywhere. It was a little angel number she interpreted as a message of love and comfort.
Because that's like my angel number. I see it in parking spots. I see it on receipts.
To focus on this album, she also stepped away from her long-running role as a judge of American Idol in early 2024. The first single, Woman's World, was released on July 11, 2024, but both the song and music video got roasted by critics and fans. People blamed it on the album's awkward marketing and Perry working with Dr. Luke. His involvement in the album was widely criticized because of the long-standing sexual assault allegations against him by Kesha. The second single, Lifetimes, also saw some drama because Katy was accused of trespassing on protected dunes in Spain, which was denied by her team. Like her previous album, 143 was not doing to her what her teenage pop era did. Most of her singles from 143 didn't do super well on regular charts, but did better on airplay charts. Even though the album kicked off at number 6 in both America and the UK, many weren't impressed and even called it Perry's weakest album ever, with boring songs and old-school production. Some even went ahead and said it sounded like I Made It. Honestly, no matter what, Katy remains an iconic pop star, and with her next album, we wish to see our pop queen back to her former glory.